out the context and to remind all those people who are following it very closely what is at stake. The appeals in the election petitions filed by Mr. Benjamin Exeter and Lauren Batiste will be heard in the Court of Appeal on March 7th, 2017. That's next Tuesday. The hearing will take place in St. Lucia. The lawyers representing Mr. Exeter and Batiste will be Mr. Stanley Starkey John, QC, Mrs. K. Bacchus Batiste, Mr. Keith Scotland from Trinidad and Tobago, and Ms. Maya Eustace. They, along with Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste, will travel to St. Lucia on Monday, March 6th for the hearing. As President of the New Democratic Party, I too will be present at the hearing in St. Lucia. As you know, following the general elections held in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on the 15th of December 2015, two of the candidates of the New Democratic Party, Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste, filed petitions challenging the election results in Central Leeward and North Windward, in those two constituencies respectively. As required by the legislation governing election petitions, recognizances or bonds were signed by persons intending to be sureties to provide security for costs on behalf of the petitioners, so that the petitions could proceed. The respondents in the matter, that is the relevant returning officer and the presiding officer, the supervisor of elections, Sir Louis Straker, Mr. Montgomery Daniel, and the Attorney General of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, filed applications in the court to have the petitions struck out on the basis that they had not met the requirements of Sections 58 of the Representation of the People Act and Rule 9 of the House of Assembly Rules, House of Assembly Election Petition Rules 2014, which set out the procedure and conditions for providing security for costs. The application to strike out the petitions was heard before Justice Brian Cuttle on March 4th, 2016. At that hearing, the petitioner's lawyers, that is our lawyers, made a preliminary objection to the application to strike out on the basis that the court lacked jurisdiction to hear it at that stage in the petition's proceedings. Despite the objections of the lawyers for our candidates, the judge proceeded to hear the application to strike out the petitions. In a written decision delivered on the 4th of April 2016, Justice Cuttle ultimately agreed with our candidates' lawyers and ruled that the petitions could not be struck out at that stage in the proceedings. However, unusually, he went on further to state that if the application to strike out the petitions were raised again later during the hearing of the petitions on their merit, it was bound to succeed. When the petitions came before Justice Cuttle for hearing on the 16th of June 2016, the motion to strike out the petition was again raised or brought by the respondents. The motion was granted, as Justice Cuttle had previously said would happen, and the petitions were struck out. Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste appealed against that decision, striking out the petitions. After much delay, and despite the efforts of our lawyers, the lawyers for Exeter and Mr. Batiste, to have the appeal heard as soon as possible, the appeal will finally be heard on Tuesday, March 7th, 2017. After the arguments are presented by the lawyers for both sides, in this matter on Tuesday, March 7th, 2017, it will be up to the Court of Appeal to decide whether Justice Cottle was right or wrong to strike out the petitions. We are confident that our petitioner's case or cases are strong and that the court will grant the appeal and overturn Justice Cottle's decision. Should the court grant the appeal, the petitions will then be able to proceed to a hearing on their merits before a judge in the High Court. We believe that based on the law and the evidence in the cases, our candidates, Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste, will win their legal battle. The New Democratic Party fully support Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste in their efforts to see that justice is done for the people of Central Leeward and North Windward, and by extension to the people of the country as a whole. Democracy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is on trial in this case. Therefore, it is vitally important that it be pursued resolutely and be decided by the court without further delay. It has been a long and frustrating battle for justice, but we will see it through to the end, and by the grace of God, Mr. Exeter and Mr. Batiste will prevail, and we will have fresh elections in this country. Now, there's another important matter that I wish to address, and this is the recent increase in the VAT rate from 15 to 16%. The ULP government has, in the recent budget, increased the VAT rate from 15 to 16%. This is indicative of a blatant lie from the ULP administration, who had said just last year that they were not doing any such thing. You will recall, however, that last year the government also increased the VAT by adding more basic food items to the list of goods on which VAT is paid. These items included rice, whole chicken and chicken parts, butter, brown sugar, lentils, pigeon peas, cooking oils, shortenings, salt, yeast, and baking powder. Our position is that it is unconscionable for the government to raise VAT to 16% now, especially given the increase that was done last year. The country's economy is in a poor shape, with people and businesses struggling to make ends meet. Increasing taxes may help the government finances in the short term, but will hurt the people and overall will have a negative effect on the economy. You cannot tax your way to economic growth and prosperity. Rather, greater effort must be made by the government to stimulate the economy, which will ultimately benefit government itself through increased tax collection and will also improve the lives of our people. That is the statement that I wish to make, and if you have any questions, Lavon will assist.